They did, how come they got lost? Where did they go? If they survived, did they survive? Where did they, what? You see, they're more likely to have survived somewhere out there. And if they did survive, again, DNA would help in those things. There's a big Jewish population in Babylon, Iraq, but that may have come from the Babylonian captivity, as it were, after Nebuchadnezzar in the 585 period. But, you know, Mormons, I think, to some extent, think that either Indians or they are the 10 lost tribes. And a lot of English people think they're the 10 lost tribes. Wherever you go, you meet legends about the 10 lost tribes. There's all kinds of British Israelites who think they're the 10 lost tribes. It's everywhere. And of course, it's open to everyone's imagination, the same as Atlantis is. I think Atlantis is Santorini. I don't think we have to worry about it being out either the Pacific or the Atlantic Oceans, the way the flying saucer programs try to portray it. But if you watch History Channel, you'll know what I mean. I watch History Channel quite a bit. If I could get the ads out of it, I would watch it more. I can tell you this. I was out in Afghanistan in the early 60s, and on the trains out there, I was stunned. I met people with ammunition belts across them, you know, like being out in the West in the 1850s, or being down in Mexico at the time of Pancho Villa. There were people with bandoleros, everything back then. And, you know, I would get to talking, and I'd tell them where I came from. So, we're the 10 lost tribes. We're the 10 lost tribes. And they believe it out there. They really believe it out there. And the Pathans, they claim, comes from the word Palestine. Again, Pathan, Pashtun is the Hindu, Afghan pronunciation. Pashtun, Palestine. Don't ask me if it's true or not. This is what they think. Again, it's poetry once again. They think this DNA would settle the matter. I'm sure one day it'll be done before too long, and we'll know better. But there are a lot of place names out there that are Hebrew type of place names, rivers, locations, tribal names, everything. So, I mean, that's the most likely place where you'll find them. And those people are pretty ferocious, the Afghans, as we've come to discover. And I think the Israelites were pretty ferocious back in their time. They were hill peoples, you know, Scots, others were hill peoples, are pretty ferocious. Hill peoples tend to be more ferocious than, you know, flat peoples, flatland peoples. Because flatland peoples are more organized, more civilized, more, you know, the government extends further, and the administration is easier to administer, if you will, as it were. People become citizens and softer and more settled and easier to manage. Hill people are always considered crazy. You know, that's just the way it is in history. Nowadays, I guess not. But anyway, I wouldn't be surprised if the Afghans, or some Afghans are the descendants of whatever is left of the 10 lost tribes. Okay, so now we can open up our Daniel books, and I said we'd look at Daniel first. You see, this Daniel is a weird character. Again, we are in literature, and the Hebrew Bible says this is literature. The non-Hebrew Bible, the one more people are familiar with, call it Christian, whatever you want to call it, considers Daniel a prophet. And I think the Dead Sea Scrolls thought Daniel was a prophet too. So I'm not putting them down for thinking that. I'm just saying that for the Hebrew writings, because of the plainly literary character of Daniel, what do I mean by literary character? I can find him, I keep looking for him, I can never find Daniel. Here he is. In this Catholic Bible, Daniel is the fourth prophet after Ezekiel, I think, yeah, because he's pretty long. So they really have the prophets arranged in descending length to some extent. That's really how they're arranged, the minor prophets anyway. So you see, Daniel starts here in the court of Nebuchadnezzar. Chapter 1, in the 3rd year of Joachim, king of Judah, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, marched on Jerusalem and besieged it. And the Lord delivered Joachim of Judah into his hands. So this is not a prophecy book. This is a literary book, as it starts. I don't think it's ever really a prophecy book like Ezekiel, Amos, Hosea, Micah, Zechariah, all those different prophets. It's a different genre, which is why we usually apply the name apocalyptic to it. That's a Greek word, but anglicized. Apocalyptic, I think, usually we call visionary literature. It's the best I can do with it. If anyone has a better, usually the time of the end is incorporated into its visionary presentation. So Daniel does speak of the what? End time. Daniel really is the first book of the Bible that speaks of the end time. This is the time of the end. How long will the time of the end go on? Now, end time is certainly a new concept. You won't find it in Isaiah. You'll find the wrath in Jeremiah, which is normally associated with the end. Now, a lot of this is very popular among Christians because Christians are more interested nowadays in apocalyptic literature than most Jews are. Jews have gone more the rabbinic tendency, which is very unapocalyptic. Christians have gone more into apocalyptic literature, haven't they? What's the famous book in the New Testament that is of this genre? Revelation, which is called the Apocalypse. It's called the Apocalypse because it is the apocalypse of John. Whoever John is, nobody knows exactly who that particular John is. John, they often call him John of Patmos. Why do they call him John of Patmos? Because he says he was on the Greek island of Patmos when he got these visions. That he was a refugee or something from the situation in Palestine, whatever that situation was at the time that he had these visions or wrote this literature. He was on Patmos in the Aegean Sea, which is still there. You can visit Patmos. It's not a touristy island. Santorini is a touristy island. Patmos is not. It's pretty unspoiled. My son told me he visited it. I haven't been to Patmos. In any case, that's the apocalypse.